Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about this, Japanese Pokemon cards, because with the English market being red hot, not being able to get your hands on sealed product pretty much anywhere for a reasonable price, some of you as sellers might look to Japanese product and might think like, oh, like I can't get English stuff. I'll just find a distributor over in Japan and I'll get some Japanese boxes and I'll sell them here in the States. Well, I've done that, and there's definitely some money to be made. There's definitely some things that you can consider, but there's also some risks that I want to make you aware of. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. But what's up? My name's TJ. I run this business, PokePaster TCG. I buy and sell tons of Pokemon cards. I sell sealed and singles and all that stuff. If you ever want to know what's available on my store, you can check that in the link below. I typically try and sell singles 5% under market, and then sealed, I typically have good deals on sealed as well. So go check that out below if you're interested. But yes, so in theory, if you are wanting to get into Pokemon cards, it would be the thing to do would be to acquire English Pokemon cards at MSRP and sell them, or under MSRP and sell them at MSRP, and then that would be great. Maybe you make $5 or $10 a box. You get to hook people up with Pokemon cards, and everyone's happy. And that doesn't exist right now. The market's crazy. Getting cards at or close to the suggested retail price, or even under the retail price, is not really a thing, unless you get quite lucky, or you just happen to be shopping at Target or Walmart when those things happen. Or if you want to if you want to pitch up a tent and camp outside GameStop to get a box or two at a good price, like, hey, more power to you, buddy. But with that being the case, Japanese cards are another option. And I do think that as things continue to be expensive, I think that for people who enjoy ripping cards, opening cards in another language is a great option. For instance, you can open, well, I guess this one is not a great example because Japanese 151 is quite expensive. It just happens to be the only Japanese box that I have on hand. But typically, the Japanese boxes are significantly cheaper than the English counterparts if you're just looking to open packs. And so I've done that before. I've actually probably sold anywhere between 10 and 20, probably $20,000 worth of Japanese booster boxes, which in the grand scheme of things is not a ton. But I learned a few things, and so I want to chat with you guys about it. And some of this is kind of like a foreboding, or a little bit of an ominous sign of what could come. Hopefully what doesn't come, but it definitely could at some point. And that's when you get caught holding the bag, which I don't want you guys to do. So let's say you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, and you find someone overseas in Japan who is able to sell you bulk Japanese booster boxes, right? And let's just hypothetically say that you're able to acquire a box at $80 and the TCGplayer market price is $100, right? Which that would be really good if you're able to buy boxes at $80, consistently, and then the TCGplayer price is $100. That'd be awesome. Now, if you're like, oh, sick, that's $20 a box, I'm gonna be rich. Well, slow your roll, buddy, because it doesn't work. Doesn't work just like that. In that scenario, right? If you sell on a platform like TCGplayer, you're going to have to pay 13, 14% in the marketplace fee, and you're going to have to ship it, right? And shipping a booster box is about $6. Japanese booster box is about $6. So if you are decent at math at all, I'm a pastor. I tell people about Jesus, so I'm not a mathematician, but I do know that math basically is a wash. And in that scenario, you are breaking even though you're getting the boxes at 20% under the TCGplayer market price. So what do? Well, you either need to have an outlet that you can sell to have less in fees, to pay less in fees, and there are a few different ways you can go about that. You could always sell in person. You could sell at a local vending show. You could try and sell at the market price, and then that way your margin is better. You could just try and post the boxes on Facebook Marketplace and try and sell people locally in your area. If you live in a more populated area like a city, or suburbs of a city or things like that, then that's going to increase your ability to do that. If you're in Podunk, Iowa, or out in the middle of nowhere, then you're probably not going to be able to do that, understandably so. So that's one option, is you just move them locally. And there's some pros there. People typically pay you in cash, so that's kind of cool. Oh, that light died. Great. People typically pay you in cash, which is cool, and then you get to meet some people, have face-to-face interactions with people, which is pretty sick. But also there's some cons, like you have to drive around. It takes a lot of time to like meet people. Sometimes people are like, up, let's meet here. Like, it just depends on how much time you have to like meet people up. Then you're like, well, I can make people come to me, but do you really want all these people coming to your house? Like all this stuff, right? So that's something to consider. But it is a way to liquidate a Japanese product that you're able to acquire overseas. And then the other avenue, which is probably better and more scalable, is to have an online place where you can sell the cards and pay less in fees. Now, the way that I've done that in the past is through my pro seller site, which is a way that I can still sell on TCGplayer but pay 5% in fees along, that's credit card fee and pro seller fees. So I only pay 5% in fees plus shipping. Or you could have your very own website on like Wix or Shopify or any of those outlets, and then you can sell without the fees. That's another way that you can make some money doing that. But even if you do that, like even if I were to acquire that hypothetical box right now, let's say market price $100, I'm going to buy it for 80. Even with that, paying 5% in fees, if I sell at market, if I sell to you guys, if I sell to people who are going to shop my store at market, I'm going to pay $5 in fees, and then I'm going to pay about $6 to ship it. So in this scenario, which is a really good hypothetical, I'm making $9 a box, which is not a ton, right? But if you can sell 100 boxes, if you can sell 10 boxes, that's $90. If you can sell 100 boxes, that's right. Yeah, $900. So again, math, right? That's not like fantastic to think about how much work it takes to sell all of those boxes for $900 is a lot. So that's just something to be mindful of when it comes to selling sealed or acquiring sealed. And then the big other thing that is risky, and I have been in this scenario before, and it is spooky, is that when you're acquiring large amounts of sealed product like that, not everything is like English is right now. English sealed product right now, you almost never have to worry about buying something and having it go down by the time that you sell it. I have gotten into scenarios where I purchased Japanese booster boxes I didn't buy it like right at release, but a little bit after release. And by the time that I got through all of them, because it depends on how quickly you can sell things, right? Like if you can reliably buy, like, hey, I'm going to buy 50 booster boxes and I know that they're all going to be gone in 2 weeks because I just have that kind of volume and that kind of traction on my store, on my website, then that's great. You don't have to worry about this. But if you are going to have to hang on to them for a little while, there is a chance that the market is going to slowly go down. And by the time you get rid of those last few boxes that you have left, if you're selling at market, you might lose some money. That's a real thing. Or you might break even, right? So then you're doing all that work just to break even. So those are things to be absolutely mindful of. But then there's also the alternative, and I say this, take caution when I say this, okay? This is a scenario where the opposite happened, okay? Where I bought a bunch of these boxes, I think at like $80 or $90 a box. And by the time I sold them, I realized that they were exponentially increasing. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to sell them right now. I'm just going to hang on to them for a little bit. And this box right now is, I think, like $190 or $195 or something silly like that. But it's $151, and that set does, $151 things. So I would say that is not the norm, especially with Japanese boxes. For even like with Trastel Festival, which is the prismatic counterpart in Japan, like that one has done up and down and up and down and up and down. Depending on when you got in, you very well could lose money depending on the price and how long it takes you to sell it and what reprints look like. And so all of that is, I'm just saying, like, it is not as simple as you might think it is. So keep that all in mind before you hop into the Japanese sealed market. But if you can figure it out, right? If you can figure out a way to reliably source Japanese product, if you can figure out a good avenue to sell it here in the States, whether it's online or in person, and do that quickly, hopefully keeping fees to a minimum. And you can, work with the person who's shipping to you and handle tariff things. I know, like, there are ways that you can do separate shipments or things to try and make sure. I think there's like last time I ordered, there was like I think you had to spend, I don't know, we did it in like multiple shipments or something. I can't remember, but there are ways that you can try to avoid the tariff type stuff as long as you're not acquiring like massive amounts. Maybe that's not a thing anymore, but those are questions to ask the person that you are buying from, or you can do your own research on the shipping and customs and tariff situation, because I know that that's a consideration now as well, because there are import tariffs from Japan, which you often have to incur as the buyer. So all that to say, Japanese sealed product, there is a lot of potential there, and a lot of people make money buying and selling Japanese, but you have to be aware of those risks as well. So if you want to jump into that market, you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, you might get caught holding the bag, and that's not a good spot to be. So hopefully this helps. Hey, if you have any questions, I love to answer questions below. I also do a live stream every Sunday evening where we kind of go over the week. I pack orders and answer whatever questions you might have. There were about 50 people hanging out the other night, which was awesome. So yeah. Hey, but I believe that Jesus loves you. I believe that he has an incredible plan for your life. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.